how grown up she was. And
but she was like that when she was 7.
yes.
That when I met her, that was what I was saying. And I attribute that to her. All technical dancers are extremely intelligent. You have to use that part of your brain. She was intelligent at times, maybe too intelligent for her own age.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I hope she's okay that I'm saying this, but I'm saying it out of, love for her talent. Growing up.
No, of course.
And seeing her and how, hey, I'm not the only one that was inspired by Maddie. You have other people like Sia.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Today we are going to be talking about a couple things that I already know, that I already knew, that I've been saying on this channel for years, I've been saying on TikTok for years, and we're also going to be talking about, did any of the Dance Moms girls ever stand a chance at being the star of Dance Moms or the chosen girl? Because all of our suspicions from over the years are 100% correct. So let's get into it, because Melissa, Mackenzie and Maddie's mom, posted a new video recently where she was having a sit-down conversation with John Corella. And John Corella is one of the primary creators of Dance Moms. Obviously, Abby Lee Miller gets credited a lot for some reason, and Brian Stinson who is mostly attributed with the production and being the producer of Dance Moms, but John Corella is actually the creator of Dance Moms. And in this video, in this sit-down, I don't know if they knew that they were giving away some giant nuggets, but this is going to confirm a lot of things, because I've said it over the years, I've said it so many times here on this channel, that if it wasn't for Molly Long and that single ladies dance, that there would be no Dance Moms. And this is, in a roundabout way, was 100% confirmed in this interview, which we will get into. Also, did any of the girls stand a chance at being the star of Dance Moms? Because in this video, they basically gave away that Dance Moms was completely created around Maddie, and Maddie specifically. So Maddie was always meant to be the star. It was not about how any of the kids danced from day one or anything on the show that ever happened. The show was created to make Maddie a star. It was meant as a vehicle, this entire show, to make sure that Maddie and Mackenzie, Melissa's children, but Maddie specifically, would become a star. So let that sink in, because so much of that weight is put on Abby's shoulders and Abby's favoritism. But this entire show was created to make Maddie a star. Not just Abby being a favorite and picking her to put her in every group dance and everything. This show is created around her. So let's get into it. By the way, if you want to watch this full video over on Melissa's channel when you're done here, the video is called Chatting with Dance Moms creator John Corella. And like I said, it's over on Melissa's channel.
So welcome back to my channel, everyone. So we just can't stop talking because we haven't seen each other for so long. Actually, we're coffee. But anyway, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. This is the most amazing man, John Corella. Tell us who you are, John.
Oh, thank you, Melissa. You are the Drew Barrymore. I'm on her Drew Barrymore couch.
I love Drew.
Well, I am one of the creators of Dance Moms. I've known you for a long time, and your daughters, and so it's always emotional seeing you because of the amazing ride that I'm sure a lot of your viewers have been on with you all. So,
and he's a dance teacher. I mean, when did you meet us, my kids?
Actually, the funny thing is you weren't there the first time. It was actually, I want to say it was for Nouveau. And
was it in Vegas or here?
No, it was here in LA.
Oh, it was here.
It was for nationals. And
why did I think it was
Vegas?
Doing
the lollipop.
Sunshine and Lollipop?
Yeah. Tapping, ironically, the first time I met her, I didn't see her doing her technique, which is amazing.
That's so crazy.
So when I saw her, I met her by herself, but I think Kurt came to fly out because she was auditioning.
There was a lot of very interesting stuff that happened in this video, by the way, like specifically Melissa's opinions on the Molly Long choreography, like the single ladies dance.
So what made you decide to pitch Dance Moms? Like, I mean, what inspired you to do a show about moms and their kids?
Well, I'm sitting here at Mackenzie's house, so obviously Maddie definitely re-sparked it, kind of switched it, because when I saw her, I remember meeting her, and I think she was right before she went on stage to do the lollipop dance. And obviously cute as a button when she was 7.
And she was so focused, right? She was like,
oh my God, like her face and her makeup and, that costume is so cute.
Yeah.
And just kind of like maybe more, I had seen some talented kids that dance, but, this kid has something different. And so she was going to do, I have a funny story actually too. She was going to get ready to do one of her auditions. And so she was running her front aerials over and over again right before. But I mean, she's 7 years old doing these front aerials. But the story I have to say is something that I think was very sweet, was because it was our poor days. We all were staying in that room.
Yes.
I remember they had to be down for auditions at like 7 a.m.
Okay.
And maybe even 8. And I was on the cot. Like it was one of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We slept on the floor. Kenzie was underneath the bed once, so when she woke up.
And she was getting nervous. She was feeling really nervous. And it was early, so I was trying to sleep, and I could hear her talking to Kurt, like, I don't want to go, Dad. I don't want to go down there, Dad.
Really? That's so funny.
No, and so, but what I loved about it is he was talking to her how you talk to her. He was saying like, no, you can do this. You're a star. And you can totally do this. And I'll stand right outside the door. I remember him saying that. I'll be right out, because it was the auditions are closed.
Right.
Usually at that national level.
Yes.
And it was just a very sweet moment. And then we all went out to dinner. There was this place called Ketchup on Sunset. And Maddie came, because she would just hang with
the adults.
all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she came and was funny and personable. I remember even the waiter kind of was shocked by how this 7-year-old girl was talking to him in this confident, kind of witty way, and so I said, why is this kid needs a TV show? And then someone said, well, make her one.
So did you hear what I'm hearing? This show was literally created because John Corella saw Maddie Ziegler and thought that she was the most vivacious, confident, was a go-getter, and that she had this star quality and she knew how to speak for herself and she was witty, and he wanted her to be successful and wanted to create a show around her to make sure that she was successful. So I could be mistaken, I don't know much about the guy, but I would say, based off of Melissa's impression of him and my own impression of him, that the show was created around Maddie with entirely pure intentions. This guy seems like an absolute sweetheart, and like he was doing this to help Maddie and Mackenzie and to help kids, at least, to have a career. So good intentions. Whether that got lost along the way, that's up for your interpretation, but I think that the entire show was created on good intentions, I think.
The combination of Maddie, the combination of me having a dance company at that time, and seeing the dynamic of you, dance moms.
Yeah. And a question, because, so, if this is my understanding, I thought, let me just correct me if I'm wrong, you were auditioning people from all over the country, right? That was your intent, or not?
And that was not necessarily my intent.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense. I think that was what happened in the process.
Oh,
my
okay.
intent was, the beginning was, I brought in, at that time, there was a group that Autumn Miller was in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were in a single ladies group. And so I had been,
amazing.
I knew her mother and was teaching at that studio at times.
Yeah.
And so I went to the production company and brought, maybe I kind of talked about them and said, this is very timely, because they were just on Good Morning America for doing a dance that everyone thought was completely inappropriate.
Yes.
And so
I didn't think it was inappropriate.
Now, did you hear that? Melissa's opinion on the girls from Molly Long. She said she didn't even think that was inappropriate. And that was like, we're talking back in like 2010, and she didn't even think that was appropriate. But I said for years, that there would have been no Dance Moms if there wasn't all of this camaraderie, that's not the right word, at all. If there was not all of this like big commotion, that's the word I was looking for, over Molly Long's choreography and how scandalous it was in 2010 and breaking the internet, because it was super scandalous, but also these kids were incredibly talented. So it was the mix of the two of those things. But Melissa says she didn't think that was scandalous at all. Then John Corella goes on to say that the only other, like, he was looking at Autumn Miller's dance studio as another potential studio. So they did end up looking at other studios to potentially create a show around, but he was 100% at Abby's studio going to be creating a show around Maddie. And I think that that is crazy, but Autumn Miller could have been the Maddie Ziegler of the show. This Dance Moms could have been created and centered around Autumn Miller and Molly Long's choreography and Krista Miller and all of that. And if you are a longtime fan of KBM talent, Autumn and Krista, you know that they were around before Dance Moms, that Autumn was on YouTube and they were making like Trick Tip Tuesdays like way back in the day. If you were one of the OGs on the internet for dance content, like they were there. So love Krista and Autumn. Autumn is a fantastic dancer. Krista, fantastic dancer, fantastic teacher. But this show could have ended up being around their group. And I've said from the very beginning that Dance Moms was created off of that commotion, off of that hype train and that media coverage because of Molly Long's choreography and the whole virality of that, but also because we saw the electricity dance on the second episode of Dance Moms, and they're using the exact same costume as the Single Ladies dance, except for it is in teal instead of red, and they intentionally created super scandalous choreography just to match, to try and get that same kind of virality and that same kind of conversation and polarity going for Dance Moms as the original Molly Long choreography got on the internet when it was posted. So I think that that is very intentional, but also shows you like how the producers were intentionally trying to exploit the children right from the very beginning. Like they saw that kids were exploited from Molly Long's choreography in the beginning, and the public had an outcry about it, and they wanted to recreate that. They were like, let's lean into that and use that for our story too. Let's exploit these kids. Let's make them do the same thing. And here, in the meantime, Melissa's like cheering it on. She thinks that it wasn't scandalous choreography in the first place. Meanwhile, on her channel the other day, she brought up like the feather dance, the band episode, and she was saying that was so inappropriate and whatever, but we didn't think anything of it at the time. Meanwhile, she was in there in the background in the episodes cheering it on, and she was super excited about it. She was the only mom that didn't make an issue about it. But here she's saying this choreography wasn't scandalous either. So I'm like, you're kind of in two places at the same time, Melissa. I don't really know what to say about that, but I find it interesting, at least, nonetheless. Very affirmative for me. Because I've been saying for years that they were intentionally trying to create the electricity dance to be scandalous, and that they were ripping off Molly Long's choreography, and that they were doing that intentionally to get that virality. And they got it. They made a big commotion. It stirred the pot. That's what they wanted. That's what they got. But I've said this entire time that if it wasn't for Molly Long, there would be no success for Dance Moms. And this kind of confirms it. And they were almost going to go with Autumn Miller's studio in the first place. And Autumn would have been the Maddie of that group, which I think would have been very interesting. Do you think that the show would have been as successful if it was Autumn Miller and her mom instead of Maddie and Abby and Melissa and Mackenzie in the original group? I find that very curious, very interesting. Then he goes on to list the dancers that were going to be in this group, and he's kind of wishy-washy, like maybe Nia, I don't know.
In the meeting, I had reached out, and you had all sent, or somebody had sent me headshots of them. And the first meeting, it was like Maddie. I know the pictures too. It was like Mackenzie and that little pink with the pink little pill box, or not pill box, but like a little, what dance was that?
I don't know what dance it was.
Come on, Melissa.
I don't know names of dances. What dance was that?
I think it was her first acro.
Yeah, it was so cute. It was it was pink.
I know she wore it for the show too eventually, that costume, but
yeah.
It was that headshot, Maddie's Lollipop, Chloe, Brooke, Paige, maybe Nia, but that was I literally walked in and said, we can use this group, or here's some other girls. And then from there...
Because we were the all-American girl team.
Like, no affirmative that Nia was even supposed to be in this group. but had all of the other dancers. He rarely names the other dancers in this interview. Like, it's mostly around Mackenzie and Maddie and Melissa. Obviously, he's on Melissa's channel, but it doesn't sound like a lot of the other girls were there to be anything other than the rest of the team, and that this show was supposed to be to make Maddie a star. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but that's my interpretation from this, and for me, that means that it did not matter how well the other girls danced. It did not matter whether Chloe was a better dancer than Maddie in the beginning, and whether the show like lied about things and cheated the system a little bit here and there to make it look like Chloe was losing or whatnot to create this rivalry for the show. It didn't matter for the rivalry. It didn't matter for Chloe. Chloe was never intended to be the star of the show anyways, and they started editing it from the very beginning to make Maddie look like the winner. Right from the very first episode, Chloe won her category, and they're already covering it to make Chloe look like a loser and make it look like Maddie won, and they were actually in entirely different categories. So I think that it was kind of a losing battle for any of these girls in terms of becoming the star of the show or the favorite on the team. The show was created around Maddie in the first place. So did it help their careers? Sure. Did they get the exposure? Sure. Is Chloe the champion by going out and winning the public's opinion and getting Kids' Choice Award? Absolutely. But did they ever have a standing chance at becoming the favorite of the star of the show? Absolutely not. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me, and it is just fully admitted, at least here in this interview.
Kids, the girls were talented. That was something, and are talented, but
yeah,
that was something that, regardless of all the, which, I mean, I still go to dance competitions and I see the chaos between the moms and hear about it. But the kids have the talent to back it up.
Yeah.
So I think back to, we did end up, I believe that the network just wanted, you know, they didn't know the world. I knew the world and was like, this is them. We can search, but this is them. And I think they just wanted to cover, just see who else was out there. And then we kind of circled back to them.
Got it. Because I've always wanted to know that.
Yeah, there was like some, I want to say even some people had sent in some videos prior. This is just to even, I want to say even presented to the network from studios that I knew in Orange County, some in Arizona. Then we sprinkled a little bit of Maddie and Chloe in, but eventually we just wanted to be at one studio.
And it worked. I think it wouldn't have worked as well if our girls didn't have our relationships, and moms, of course, which you knew that.
I'm very curious, though, if you watch this whole video, they do mention that they were all staying in a hotel room together before the show, even, and that it was like John Corella and like Maddie's mom and dad, Melissa and Kirk, and there was Maddie, Kenzie. They said there was like 10 of them.
Did you all stay in a hotel room together?
We did. Well,
back in the poor days, we laughed.
Yeah,
we called it
was poor days for sure.
We all,
me included.
Yes, we all would share a hotel room. So it was like Abby, you, was it Jesse Johnson?
Jesse, John Michael.
And then
I even, maybe Gianna might have been there. Okay. Maybe not though.
There was like 9 people in your room, I think. Maddie, you, her dad, and Abby.
And I'm like, who is this man to them? Was he their dance teacher at the time? Was he their choreographer for competition? I'm confused. Like, why were you there? And what is the relation? I didn't really get from this interview, but it seems like John Corella has been involved with Abby's studio. Anyways, that was it for this video. I thought that this was very interesting. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. And do you think that the other girls ever stood a chance of being the favorite after hearing all of this? Let me know down in the comments below. And thank you to all of my patrons for supporting this channel. And as always, make sure to be weird, be wild, and stay sparkly, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.